You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
Donald Trump's presidential campaign has been the most spectacular political story of the year.
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me.
His speech highlighted his net worth, his real estate holdings, and the fact that America needs a leader who's not a loser.
Our polling shows you have an uphill fight, 71% unfavorable.
Well, I don't wear a toupee. It's my hair.
A new poll out today shows Donald Trump's favorability spiking among Republican voters.
At first, the campaign was seen as a joke, yet another stunt by a master of media. Then Trump soared in the polls. Now, proving the skeptics wrong, the New York tycoon is still on top well into November. So we hit the trail with Trump to see the phenomenon for ourselves.
So why are you here tonight?
I want to see somebody that actually represents middle America, citizens for a change.
Everybody thought it was a joke.
Yes. It's proven that he's not a joke.
Here. I love that he knows a lot of the head honchos in some of the other countries and they respect him.
We also interviewed Trump in his office. Sound on, cameras off.
Congress doesn't work for you. You can't fire them. So how do you get things done?
Henry, I've been dealing with politicians all my life, and I've always gotten them to do what I needed to do.
Our goal on the trail was to answer 3 questions. Why do people like Trump? What would he do as president? And can he win?
He may go down as one of the greatest presidents in history. That's how confident I am about him.
Trump is a one-of-a-kind, once-in-a-generation, maybe once-in-a-lifetime political story.
There is a movement going on, folks. I hate to tell you.
3 for 10, 7 for 20.
Campaign buttons and t-shirt.
We're here at the Springfield, Illinois Convention Center. They just opened the doors for the Trump rally tonight. Everyone is very excited. As soon as they open the doors, folks charged right up to here, the podium. They want to be right in the front. I have to say, this is my first political rally ever. I'm excited. Everywhere we went in town today, folks know Mr. Trump is speaking tonight. People excited, antagonistic. It's the whole Trump thing. He brings out the emotions in people, and they are excited for tonight.
In the final moments before Trump enters, Pavarotti's aria hits its crescendo. At dawn, I will win. I will win. I will win.
Ladies and gentlemen, the holder of the largest event ever at the Prairie Capitol Convention Center and the next President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Then an abrupt musical change as Twisted Sister takes over. When Trump first jumped in the polls, pundits predicted a quick crash, but months later, he's still on a roll.
Oh, thank you very much. Wow. Whoa!
More than 10,000 people have flocked to this sold-out stadium. Most, of course, are Trump supporters.
So how come you're here tonight?
Trump is here!
And why is that so exciting that you would actually come and give your evening to Trump?
Are you kidding me? We're gonna make America great again!
So why are you here?
Because I believe in almost everything Donald Trump says, and I'm no stupidity. I've got a genius IQ, highest to the moon and back.
I'm here to see a presidential candidate actually talk for once. I haven't seen any of them in so long, and it's a pleasure to finally see someone actually come down to Springfield and represent Illinois.
And so you think he can win?
I do, and I hope he does.
Of course, this is Donald Trump, so there are strong feelings on both sides.
And you, sir?
Donald Trump is running for president. What a time to be alive.
Why do you say that?
Because there comes a point in a failing democracy when, if this man is leading in the polls, there has to be a problem.
And same for you? Why are you here?
No, I'm here to laugh at him.
You're here to laugh at him?
Yeah.
Really?
It'll be entertaining.
Okay.
The latest polls show Trump tied for first in the Republican field with another non-politician, Ben Carson. The establishment candidates, the politicians, are way behind. And that's one thing Trump's supporters love about him. He's not a politician. They're sick of politicians. And who are these supporters? Overall, they are men, white and young, who make less than $50,000 a year. Perhaps surprisingly, given some of his recent remarks, Trump also has strong support among women.
Donald Trump supporters are not your typical Republican. They're a little less well-educated and they have somewhat lower incomes. They are also some of the ones who are most dissatisfied with politics as it exists in the United States today.
In our week on the trail with Trump, we met many of these folks. Our first stop, Trump's book signing in New York City. Crippled America details his complaints about the country and his vision for making it great again. Business Insider's Brett Logerato was there.
How long have you been in line here?
I've been here since 4 a.m.
We got here about a little after 6.
I came from Wisconsin, first of all. I'm a big Trump supporter.
I think he will make a great president.
Why do you think he'll make a great president?
Because he's very smart.
No, right here. Why do I support Trump? Because he's not a politician. He's a businessman.
Donald Trump gives us the same kind of a feeling, or at least gives me the same kind of a feeling that I had when Ronald Reagan was elected.
Then it was on to New Hampshire, where Trump came to file to run in the nation's first primary. This was a symbolic flourish, vintage Trump.
My slogan, make America great again. That's what we're going to do. Make America great again. That's the headline I like, New York Times. That's what I like. More in GOP see Trump as winner, poll finds.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, everybody.
I think what Trump has tuned into or plugged himself into is even bigger than Trump. The system needs shaken up, and Trump is the man with the energy and dynamism to do it.
He's like over the top with this bursting amount of energy, and he's like a breath of fresh air.
Another thing Trump supporters like about him is that they think he tells it like it is. His mouth is one of his greatest strengths and greatest liabilities. He says things that are funny and standard campaign fare.
These politicians, they run and they run and they win, and sometimes they lose and they keep running. That's all they do is run.
It's possible that because of this deal made by Secretary Kerry, who has absolutely no clue how to negotiate, I would repeal and replace the big lie Obamacare.
He also says things that are mean, insulting, and disrespectful, such as this comment about Senator John McCain.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account
Only Rosie O'Donnell. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
These statements would doom most candidates, but so far they mostly seem to reinforce the idea that Trump is the only one who says what he really thinks. So is Donald Trump just a showman and professional provocateur, or is he serious about leading this country? Perhaps both.
He's got such a huge need for attention, and he has these sort of coinciding agendas. One is the development of his business and commercial interests, which run on publicity, and the other is his genuine dislike of President Obama and his real belief that the country's a mess. Trump has been saying that America's a mess, America's being humiliated, they're killing us, since 1987.
The country's love-hate view of Trump came into focus with his controversial appearance that weekend as host of Saturday Night Live.
We have got a great show tonight. Sia is here, so stick around. We'll be right back.
The show got panned by critics, but it had record ratings. It also got picketed by protesters.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, racism is
They lined up for hours in advance, marching from Trump Tower to Rockefeller Plaza.
ho, ho, racism has got to go.
The things they're saying aren't funny. They're hurtful, they're hateful, and they're enticing incredible acts of hatred and other sentiments of racism. That's not what America is about.
I'm definitely not a rapist. I'm not a criminal. I work hard for a living.
We need to remember that the United States was built by immigrants, and allowing these people to continue creating the hate towards our community is just creating a division in the American society.
At Charlie Parker's Diner in Springfield, Illinois, we heard these contrasting views of Trump's outspokenness.
I question whether a presidential candidate should talk about somebody's appearance or their personal issues. I don't think that's very presidential. That's my biggest problem with Donald Trump. Okay, it reminds me of a junior high bully.
I think he legit wants to offer something to, us as a nation, and, that's just the way he does it. He's brutally honest and kind of a butthole, and that's just what he does. Some people are honest and stay to the point, and other people beat around the bush. He's just not the bush beater.
Trump definitely doesn't beat around the bush, but he also often doesn't sound or act presidential. For example, Trump is now suing many American companies. He's taking Starbucks to task for not having Merry Christmas written on its holiday cups.
I have one of the most successful Starbucks in Trump Tower. Maybe we should boycott Starbucks. I don't know. Seriously. I don't care.
He threatened to never eat another Oreo because Nabisco's building a plant in Mexico.
Tonight on the plane, they had Oreos. They may be the last made in this country, but I wouldn't eat them anyway because the threat is there.
He blasts T-Mobile on Twitter because its CEO once tweaked him.
We generally like our presidents to be, well, presidential. Do we really want to elect a president who even supporters describe as, quote, kind of a butthole?
I think he speaks to a lot of the frustrations, especially in the heartland of America, especially disadvantaged people, blue-collar people, people that felt like they're conservatives but have been left by the wayside of the Republican Party. I think Donald Trump speaks to dissatisfaction and that frustration, which is ironic because you have, blue-collar boys from the backwoods supporting this rich mogul from New York, but that's how frustrated people are, how much they want change.
I want our country back. I want all of... I'm not going to tell you all this right now.
No, you can. That's
Are
fine.
you sure?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really want to hear
Yes.
it? I want our country back. I want our borders closed. I want the wall. I want that. I'm excited. I want capitalism.
And you think Trump can actually make that
I
happen?
do think he can. I think he's got balls of steel. I think he can do anything he says he can do. The man's a winner.
So you think he will win?
Oh, I think he's going to take it all the way to the White House. You betcha.
He's interested in this country and helping everybody in the country. Because right now we need the economy moving, we need jobs, and I think he might take care of that problem.
I grew up in New York City, so I've been immersed in Donald Trump all my life. Trump has always been seen as a guy who can get things done. That's perhaps the thing that voters are most excited about him. It's also something that I have always admired about him. Trump's first big book was called The Art of the Deal. I read it when I was in college. One part I've always remembered is Trump's story about fixing a disaster of a skating rink in Central Park. The city had been trying to fix this rink, Woolman Rink, for years. They just couldn't do it. The project was an embarrassment, way behind schedule, way over budget. Trump made a deal with the city to fix the rink. In a short time, with little money, he did what the bureaucrats couldn't. Trump also built a bunch of buildings you can see from right here. Trump Tower, Trump Park, Trump Hotel and Tower, Trump Place is only a few blocks over. Even those who don't like Trump have to admit that he can make things happen. I read The Art of the Deal in 1987.
That's good.
Very inspiring,
Yeah.
especially the anecdote that has always stuck with me.
Which is?
Woolman Rink.
Yeah.
Where you said, I asked myself, who knows how to make ice rinks?
Right.
Canada.
They spent 8 years. I did it in 3 months. And most of the money I spent was to rip everything they did apart.
Trump's can-do reputation is the biggest part of his appeal. Washington has been gridlocked for years. Voters from both parties are fed up with it. The idea that an outsider could come in and get things done is exciting.
I've been doing this all my life. I've been making deals all my life, all over the world. I have jobs all over the world now. Whether it's, you can take a look at anything. Zoning. The West Side Rail Yard, 6,000 units on the West Side. Everyone said, you got to be kidding, you'll never get it. I got it.
So is it give and take? Because the problem in Washington right now is it's just...
It's give and take, but it's got to be mostly take. Because you can't give, you got to mostly take. But you make deals.
Trump is just willing to ask. He's willing to demand the things that other people won't.
So Trump supporters think he can get things done. But what would he actually do? According to polls, Trump's biggest strengths with voters are number one, the economy, And number 2, illegal immigration.
Trump is often criticized for not offering specifics about what he would do as president. Well, I read his book, and there are lots of specifics in here. Interestingly, the book also shows that some of Trump's views will appeal to members of both parties. Trump is a hawk on immigration, military power, and gun rights, positions that conservatives love. But he also wants to rebuild America's infrastructure and keep Social Security and Medicare. This mix of views is unusual. It suggests that if Trump wins the nomination, he could potentially appeal to enough independents and Democrats to actually win the general election. But Trump's fiery rhetoric and his love of attacking those who criticize him unnerve moderates of both parties.
Here's Trump's own radio ad, for example, touting his plan to crush ISIS.
Donald Trump will protect Israel and brutally and quickly cut the head off of ISIS.
And here's Trump on China.
China is a tremendous abuser of the United States. I said the other day, in the history of the world, there has never been a greater theft than what the United States has, how we've been taken care of by China.
And on the biggest lightning rod issue of all, Trump's plan to deport 11 million undocumented immigrants.
And when people come in, they have to come in.
So you're going to split up families.
Chuck,
you're going to deport children.
Chuck, no, we're going to keep the families together. We have to keep the families together.
But you're going to keep them
they have
together
to
out.
go. But they have to go.
What if they have no place to go?
We will work with them.
For those who think Trump would be a pragmatic president, the deportation plan is a head shaker. Leaving aside fairness and feasibility, it's impractical. It would at best take years and cost billions. And how about military? Trump's instinct is to attack anybody who criticizes him. As president, he would be able to back up his words with the most powerful weapons and troops on the planet. Would President Trump overlook slights that candidate Trump won't? Will he use this power wisely?
Seeing other countries as the root of America's problems is nothing new for Trump.
Well, the Japanese were the bad guys in the 1980s. Now it's the Chinese who are the bad guys and the Mexicans are the bad guys. It's really, for Trump, about the dynamic of blaming someone else and pitting America against a foreign power. And in that way, it's a little easier for him than a candidate who goes head-to-head with the Democrats.
All you have to do is ask Israel. The wall works, believe me.
The last stop on our Trump campaign trail was the GOP debate in Milwaukee.
They've gotten rich off of us.
Now we're in Wisconsin for the 4th Republican debate. Obviously a very different night than last night. Last night, Donald Trump and his team controlled the entire show from beginning to end. Raucous environment, lots of alcohol served, incredibly loud and boisterous with Trump's music. This is going to be very different.
Our taxes are too high. I've come up with a tax plan that many people like very much.
Trump had a so-so night. All of his debates have been so-so.
Donald Trump is strongest when he's the center of attention. In the debates, Trump has to share the stage with the establishment candidates who sometimes sound smarter and better informed than he does. Trump's renegade political views and outsider status don't go over well with the powers that be in American politics. That's a big reason why top political analyst Nate Silver puts Donald Trump's chance of winning, even with his recent success, at only 10% or less.
If you look back at history, you've never seen candidates like Donald Trump, certainly, or Ben Carson win a party nomination. And secondly, if you look at the polling, a lot of times a candidate, it's the establishment's game. You're playing on their turf. They control all sorts of things from the delegate selection process.
Indeed, the party nomination isn't about overall popularity. It's a state-by-state contest for delegates, and each state's rules are different. Some, like Florida, are winner-take-all. Others split them up.
In the case of Iowa, in particular, because of the complicated caucus rules, it's very important to have a well-organized ground campaign.
Instead of boots on the ground, Trump is rallying supporters largely via mail-in postcards. But to have a chance of winning, pundits say, Trump will eventually have to get the Republican establishment behind him. So one key question is whether he will be able to do that. Political analysts said at some point you're going to have to hug and make up with Karl Rove and the establishment.
I mean, yeah, maybe I will. I can do that too. I can make up with the establishment. Look, the establishment doesn't want me because I don't need the establishment.
Trump makes a big deal about how he's not beholden to the powers that be, and his fans love that about him.
I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second.
But presidential campaigns cost a lot of money. And for now, the big money is backing other candidates.
Early on, most of the big Republican donors backed Jeb Bush. Lately, Marco Rubio just got a big win when Paul Singer, one of the biggest Republican billionaire donors, decided to back him. And Singer said that Rubio was the only candidate who could beat Hillary Clinton in a general election.
Donald Trump's greatest strengths are his pragmatism and his charisma. He's a brilliant businessman who can get things done. He's also a brilliant entertainer. When he uses those talents for good, they enable him to do things that most people would consider impossible. When he uses them for bad, however, he brings out the worst in himself and in the country. With less than 3 months to go before the first votes are cast, most pundits still think Trump's ride will soon come to an end. Trump, meanwhile, still thinks he's a winner.
I love you all. Thank you. We will make America great again. Thank you.
Stay tuned as the greatest political story of the year continues to unfold.
The prism through which we cover him and approach him, that's been shattered. I stopped making any predictions because I realized that he was going to defy all of these rules, partly because he learned from television, partly because he has skills as an entertainer. He is a one-of-a-kind candidate.